Who cares?
He said, who cares? See? I'm glad I didn't ask you. We're supposed to have a quick wedding right after this. So I need you guys to just hang in there. It'll take about 10 minutes to do a quick wedding. Lock your doors getting married. He's not here yet, so maybe they called it off. These seats are empty for those who are on the back row. Can you fill in the front so those that come in late can just quietly get in there?
Lock your door, probably figuring out his jacket.
Probably. Yeah, I appreciate that. Are we ready yet?
Almost, just fixing the last little bits.
Of course. I told the engineer, can we start on time this morning and pretend to be white? And he's like, yeah, we can. And we still started late. Anybody here was at Politicon last week? Oh, really? Right on. Did you have fun there? Yeah. How about you? A little bit? How you doing, Ed? Good to see you. They doing this. Good morning. Welcome to church. I'm Jesse Peterson. Thank you so much for being with me. You can get involved by going to our YouTube chat line, rebuildingtheman.com/church, and I can respond to your questions. I am back, and good morning to everybody here again. I am back. We were over at Politicon last week, and it was amazing. Had a really good time. Met a lot of people. It was very, very interesting. So I appreciate you guys' patience for no church last week. A lot of things have happened between last Sunday and today. But I first want to find out if anybody here have any questions or anything you want to talk about, because I don't want to just come with my stuff. This is a fellowship, and we want to help one another overcome whatever you're dealing with, right? And so anybody have any questions? Let's go to the mic right here.
Hi, there's something that I did want to go over with you. It was regarding this dream I had that was very revealing, and wanted your insight on it. Not necessarily an interpretation, just on what I think it was telling me. I was sitting in an audience, and actually I was sitting in a seat similar to here, where there was a lot of space. There was space where I was able to see Donald Trump up in front.
The Great White Hope.
Yeah, it was very,
Lord.
Very interesting dream. So there was space, and there was this a man and a younger woman who were trying to get me out of the seat, get me out of my seat. They were trying to pressure me, intimidate me to get me out of my seat. And I wasn't moving. I was determined that they were not going to move me off my seat. And I said, okay. I go at that. I go at this. I go, this seat was assigned to me. And it was a good seat because it was just like this. It allowed me a good view. I wasn't crowded. I didn't feel crowded. There was space in there. And they wouldn't. And then I remember telling somebody. It was like a young man who was they were younger than me for whatever reason. So they were trying to get me out of my seat. And I said, look, I go, how would you like it if I try to take you out of your seat? And he didn't have a reply after that. And I go, if you can get Donald Trump to come and tell me to get me out of my seat, and then I'll move. I'll let you sit here for whatever reason. So when I woke up, really quickly something came to me as far as what the dream was trying to tell me. And I think that there is a position, there is a position where who you are should be at the threshold. I think there's a saying that goes that when the king sits in the throne, all the subjects, everything comes to an obedience. So I've noticed that this who you really are, who you really are is at the throne, which is really pretty much nothing. You really can't say who you are, but it's a form of quiet peace. You're centered. You're watching thoughts. That's the seat of who you really are. You're in your seat, in your center. But then you have these temptations that want to sort of take you out of that center. You can be a young woman. It could be, the temptation. It comes in and it wants to sort of elbow itself into the throne, so to speak. Temptation or this false identity that when I'm beginning to watch it, and I'm beginning to sort of pull my worldly attachments away from it. And when I'm starting to do that, I'm noticing that there is this entity, if I can put it that way, that is not in the throne right now because I'm centered. I pray, but it sort of wants to move itself. It constantly it's here and it puts itself across my view of my field of vision, and it sort of wants to engage me and to talk. It wants to engage me into having conversations and what have you. And when it does, it technically is in the throne. So, I know this is totally what you talk about, and I just wanted to bring that up because I thought it was very, very revealing, and the fact that, the way it was.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know much. I don't interpret dreams and all that. But what I have realized about dreams is that because there's two reality, an illusion of a reality, Satan playing God, and then a real reality, Satan is constantly trying to influence us in many ways. Even when we are asleep, we can go unconscious and fall into a dream, and he'll pretend that something is happening that's not. Mm-hmm. What I realized from dreams is that because of that, God doesn't come to us in dreams. God reveals things to us, and Satan comes in dreams in that fallen state. But I don't know how to interpret that.
But what about my interpretation in that, I have found that when I'm in my center, and I think you know what I mean by being in the center.
Yeah, being present with God.
Being present
Yeah.
in the moment. You watch thoughts as they come and go.
Right.
But whoever you are does not come and go. It's always there. So when I'm there, but I notice that that sometimes it comes hard. You may not necessarily, it doesn't have to be an outer circumstance. The inner presence that's not you comes and wants to somehow dethrone you from your center.
He's always trying to seduce you.
Always, constantly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Constantly.
Always.
And especially when you sincerely start wanting to pull yourself away from your unhealthy attachments.
Yeah.
If you have unhealthy attachments and you want to pull yourself away, you finally realize, you wake up and you realize that you're being captive to them and you're a slave to them.
Are you overcoming your unhealthy attachments?
That's where I'm at, is that I'm starting to detach from very serious healthy attachments I've always had.
By doing what?
By not getting involved in unhealthy relationships, whether it's a negative, argumentative, or somebody that is not healthy for me to be around with. And I've because I became friends and attached to this person, so when I start removing myself from that, and I'm starting to even feel like a little anxiety, because a separation anxiety.
Are you over that person now?
Huh?
Are you over that person?
No, I can't say that I am, because the implanted identity that is attached, that's connected to all these unhealthy relationships, is still present with me. In fact, I'm starting to experience it as a tiny little anxiety as soon as I really start separating myself from it. So I realize that I'm detaching from within, not necessarily just not being around unhealthy people or other relationships, but watching the connection and attachment inside. That's where I'm at, and I'm starting to experience it. So
good, man.
Just wanted to.
Are you doing the silent prayer?
Yes.
Every day and night?
I unceasingly. Even now I'm doing it.
Oh, good. Good. Yeah, stay with that.
Yeah.
And that'll work out. All right. Anybody else? Anybody else? Right here? Lord, Joel got a question.
Hello.
Without Esteban and James. Yes.
Hello.
How you doing, sir?
I'm real good, thanks.
This your first time here?
First Sunday. I came on Tuesday to the panel you had.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was a good town hall, huh?
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, it was amazing. Had a lot of fun. Yes, sir.
So I've been watching lots of your videos on YouTube, and in a few of them I noticed that you said you were kind of shying away from reading the Bible, like saying not to read it a lot. And I was just wondering if you could explain like why you think like not reading the Bible a lot is beneficial.
You can read it, but don't read to remember. When you read it, just open it up, read something, put it away, forget about it. Because what happens is, if you don't, it'll feed your intellect, and it will make you think you know what you don't know. Satan will use it against you. He will interpret it for you. He will puff up your pride, your ego, and make you think that you found God, that you know God, when you really don't. So don't read it to remember it. Don't study it. Just pick it up and put it away. The problem that is happening in the churches with Christians, not all, but most, they have read the Bible, and some have read 2 and 3 times. Whenever I hear a person say they read the Bible like 3 or 4 times, I'm like, are you crazy? Who does that, you know? And the Bible's not like an easy book to go through. But so read it, but not to remember it. And that way your intellect won't be fed, because the problem is the knowledge of good and evil. We know evil in that fallen state. And then when you learn the Bible, now you know good. You know about good, right? But it just puffs you up. And it prevents you from humbling yourself because you think you know the truth. So you could read it, but don't remember it. Don't try not to remember, but do not try to remember it.
So what's like the attitude, I guess, are you saying you should approach it with? Just as like a not even any kind of intention, just to let God reveal it, like you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just open it and just be there and then close it again.
Yeah, sometimes when I read it, I'll open it up, and it's right what I need for right then, I guess. But I'll put it away and forget about it, and then later it's revealed to me. So don't read. You have to let your intellect die instead of feeding it all this stuff. You notice how nutty that people go to college and they get degrees? And they, especially when they get, what kind of degree? PhDs, MHDs, insane Ds. Look how they screwed up the country now. The people who are screwing up the country are the ones with the degrees and things like that. And so you have the Holy Spirit inside of you. He's really there, and he will teach you all things. He'll perfect your life, but you got to be dumb so that he can do that. But when you read the scriptures and learn the Bible, then it only helps your intellect, which is of your father, the devil. You read the Bible a lot?
Yeah, every day.
Every day?
Yeah, in the morning.
The whole thing?
I've just started like a process from Genesis all the way to Revelation to read the whole thing. I've never done it before. So.
And what made you decide to do that?
I was getting. I feel like a lot of progress that I've made recently as a believer has been from reading the Word.
Oh, yeah?
And I felt closer to God from reading the Bible. So.
What does that feel like?
It's a revelation thing. Like it's revealing itself to me, and it's not always in the moment. It's I guess it's just keeping my focus on God. And it's not like when I read the Bible, I have like this active intention to I mean, I'm seeking wisdom. That's what it is.
And where are you looking?
Just reading from beginning to end of the Bible. Yeah.
You're not going to find it there.
It says that the Bible is the Word of God. So,
the Bible is the word from God.
yeah.
The word of God is within you. And so when you seek wisdom, you have to seek it from within. Everything you're looking for is inside of you already. And the Bible points back to that and tell you the kingdom of heaven is at hand, is within, to look within, not without. So you're not going to find it without. You have to look within. It's not without.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So look within, be still and know him from within. It's going to be amazing. And so when you do read the Bible, it will be revealed to you. But you can go ahead and read the whole thing if you want, but I would caution you not to do that. Just,
It's because it's going
it's going
to
to,
build up pride or
Yes.
intellect or ego within
Yeah.
me that I know the Bible
Right.
and I'm a
And
good
then-
Christian and all that.
right. And
Yeah.
your life will be screwed up. And so then you start making up excuses. Oh, no one is perfect. We all make mistakes. You're not going to be perfect until you get to heaven. Rather than realizing, well, I read this whole Bible and it's still not working. Something else must be wrong. But they'll make up excuses rather than admitting something is wrong. Because one thing for sure, when you find God from within, your life will change just like that. And you start living from within. He's not on the outside. He said that if someone tells you to look here or look there, and all these different places out there, they're lying to you. Don't do it. The kingdom of heaven is within. You have the Holy Spirit there. You have Christ is there to help you. God is within you. If you pay attention to what's happening inside of you and have no opinion about it, it will blow your mind.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah. How old are you?
27.
Oh, good. Yeah. Now, again, if you may have to take that hard road, you may have to read it through and through, and then figure out later, wow, I wasted my time. So if you need to go that path, I don't want to stop you, but I'm warning you. I'm just telling you that everything you're looking for is already inside of you.
Okay.
And so you say you feel God, you feel close to Him.
I think I feel better about myself probably knowing that I'm reading the Bible and I'm on the right path. You know, I'm seeking this wisdom and actively I guess I'm trying to transform and renew my mind rather than letting God transform and renew my mind.
That's right. And see, that's the illusion. So you're reading the Bible now and already you're feeling better about yourself. That's the ego being puffed up. And then there's somebody out there trying to tell you something, especially a sinner, quote unquote, you're not going to want to hear from them because you're feeling better about yourself. You read the Bible and you're going to smack them over the head with the word. So are you doing my silent, are you familiar with my silent prayer?
Nope.
I encourage you to do that. I have a silent prayer online.
Okay.
Silentprayer.video. I want you to do that. And then pick the Bible up and read it, but put it away and just watch yourself without an opinion. Don't call it good or evil, right or wrong or anything. Just have no opinion. It's going to be amazing.
Okay.
What is it that you don't like about yourself?
I have doubts about the goodness of God and whether or not He's forsaken me in the past sometimes.
Right.
And so those doubts, they creep in. And so I guess I'm trying to like supercharge my faith by just diving into the Word.
I understand. That's not going to work for you.
Yeah.
It's not going to work. So the way you believe in God is to doubt every thought that you have. Because you're in a fallen state and Satan is your daddy. Did you know that?
I guess I didn't know that, but
And yeah, Satan is your daddy. Have you ever called Satan daddy?
nope.
And so what he's doing, he's talking to you about everything. He tell you what good is, what bad is. He tell you you're no good. And then when you read the Bible, he tells you that you're a good guy now. And then you go down after a while, you say you're not so good. You got to read the whole thing. And while you read the whole thing, he'll tell you that you're a nut job. And, he'll just mess with you. I want you to practice doubting every thought. And when you doubt the lie, then you have the truth. You have no other choice but to have faith in God. But you have to doubt. You're not your thoughts. And you're not the creator of your thoughts. And they are not from God. You have to bring every thought into captivity, according to the Bible. And so don't believe anything that comes through your head.
Word.
Really. And then don't have an opinion of yourself.
Yeah.
I have no opinion of myself at all. None, zero. And so just live without having an opinion of yourself. Because you're playing God when you have an opinion of yourself. I'm good, I'm bad, I'm this, I'm that, and all that stuff. Cut it out and just live your life seeking the kingdom from within, and you'll be fine.
Cool.
That make sense?
Yeah.
Are you beta or alpha?
I feel like I have beta moments, I guess, but I like to claim alpha.
I know every beta male like to claim alpha. But just, you're a good guy, man, so relax, look within, and go and forgive your parents. That's the beginning of it. You need to go and forgive your father and mother, forgive your mother, and then return to your father, your earthly father, and that would change everything right there.
Cool.
Are you close to them?
Yeah, very close.
Are they together?
No, they're divorced.
At what age were you when they were?
10, 11.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, go and forgive your mother for what she did to you. She couldn't help herself. And then go and forgive your father because he was beta. He didn't know how to handle your mother. And not that he doesn't love you. He left because he was married to his mother. Because you become attracted to what you hate. And you take on the identity of what you hate. Whomever you hate, right? And so your mindset right now is that of your mother. You don't have a man's mindset. You think and feel like a woman.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Makes sense.
Yeah. And so, but when you go and forgive your mother, realizing that she could not help herself because her mother did it to her, her father was weak, then God will forgive you. Don't ask your mother for forgiveness. You forgive her, and God will forgive you, and He'll renew your mind. He'll give you back the mind that you had prior to the fall, prior to resenting your mother.
Cool.
All right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome, buddy. Really good question. Yes, Joel. Where's Joel? Joel had his hand there.
I think theirs is a little bit more on topic.
What?
Their questions are a little bit more on topic.
Who?
Whoever else raised their hand.
How do you
Mine was
know?
passed.
You reading minds up in
They
here?
raised it right when he was talking, that's why.
Go ahead, mama. Beta. Not an alpha male.
If you've forgiven, how do you get rid of those unhealthy habits or bad habits?
Oh, that's a good question. Really good. Let me tell you something else about the mind. Do not have a conversation with your mind. You know, sometimes Satan is talking to you and you find yourself talking back.
Yeah.
You know? Say like, don't forget to get your coat, your jacket. Oh, okay, I won't. Make sure you turn right at the light. Okay, I will. Do not have any conversation with it at all. You got to ignore it completely. Don't have any conversation with the devil. Really. Because that's what he's trying. He's constantly trying to control you. So no conversation with him. And if you find yourself talking back, just be quiet. Just shut up and let it pass, all right? But do not conversation with the devil. He's serious about coming back for you. He doesn't want you. He wants you to recognize his voice as the voice of God or your own. He does not want you to be free. He really doesn't. So this thing about, God said, bring every thought into captivity. He means every thought in every way, have no relationship with it at all. And eventually Satan starts to get further and further away from you. He will start to disappear because you become sons and daughters of God. So you become more familiar with his voice and just as familiar as you are with Satan right now. So Satan will disappear and God's word will be made clear to you. So no conversation at all. So restate your question.
If you've forgiven, how do you get rid of, or how do you stop the unhealthy habits?
By having no opinion of it at all. Don't judge it as right or wrong. Do not put any effort into trying to get rid of it. Just be aware of it. For example, if you're a pothead, how many potheads we have?
Right here. That's why I'm here.
That's why you're here, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. So next time, how did you become a pothead? Oh, hold on, I'm sorry.
Here comes my story.
This your first time here?
Yes, this is my first time
How
here.
did you find us?
So grateful to be here.
I'm glad you're here.
This is about a year and a half just on YouTube.
Right on. And so, how did you become a pothead?
I started smoking weed at 12 years old.
Wow.
And I pretty much smoke weed almost every day for all those years until today, still smoking hard. And the reason why I came out here was because a conversation with my brother that I had, and he and I were talking about getting sober, and we missed the Sober October. So we decided, let's do something November 1st and just work on, smoking weed, not smoking weed until
Right.
Thanksgiving, and so.
So you said that on the 1st of October, you guys not going to smoke pot?
No. October passed. We had this conversation like a week ago.
Oh,
so
okay.
starting November, because we were like, man, we missed Sober October,
Yeah.
So then the conversation became, well, let's see what we can do the 1st of November.
I totally understand that.
So my brother and I kind of put a pact together, and we say, okay, let's do it starting November 1st.
So November 1, you're not going to smoke pot?
Yes, I'm not going to.
Amazing. Anybody believe that she's not going to smoke?
Right? If you want to bet, if you're a betting person, this is a good one.
When I was in that father state, I used to tell myself things like that. I'm not going to have sex this week. It was my greatest week for sex. I just had sex all the way through the week. Sometimes twice on Sundays, right? Here's what I first recommend. From this day forward, never, ever, 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 but never, ever, ever, as long as you walk this earth, tell yourself you're not going to do it. Because you set yourself up to go nuts over it.
Yeah.
Because you're playing God. You're acting like you have control of your life, that you can make these things happen, and you can't. And so it's a setup. Do not make that promise. Just know that you want to stop.
Yeah.
All right? But don't judge yourself for it. Don't have an opinion about it. You know what? I smoke pot. I don't want to do it, but I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Right? And don't be mad about it. Don't call it good or evil. But when you light up the joint, let me see. Let me do it. Let me see. I used to smoke pot, so I know how you do it.
I use the blunt wrapper.
So you do it like this.
Sounds about right. That's about right.
And then you smell it. So, and then you're like already in your mind, you're already into this, right? Like, this is gonna be good. This is some strong stuff. This is made from the earth.
Yes.
God made this pot. So in your mind, you're already into it, right?
Yeah.
But here's what I recommend. Next time you fire up, just kind of look at it. Don't be already into it. And just kind of watch yourself smoking it. Watch yourself smoking and watch the smoke coming. It'll change everything. Just the observation of it, which is from God, would cause you to lose the appetite for it.
I would say that I've had in a moment where I've sat there, I've looked at it, and actually it ends up being like, wow, this is really good. So it just turns like when I self-observe, it like
right, but when that
turns
happens,
into the
no big
opposite.
deal. Just realize, you know what, I'm loving this too much.
Yeah, I am. I
Right.
end up loving it too much.
But don't hate it.
No.
I mean, don't hate yourself for it.
Yeah.
But here's the way to really overcome it, because the pot is not the problem, it's your anger that's the problem. You're falling away from God, and so you're reaching out to the world for something to make you feel better, to get rid of the guilt, to make you feel better about yourself, right? And so the pot is not the answer, and the pot is not the problem. You got to forgive. You got to overcome your anger, because you only have hatred in your heart and no love. Satan is your father, and he's trying to destroy you. So you need to go and drop your anger, and then all these bad habits, because the sin is not the pot. The sin is the judgment, your pride, your anger. And the pride separates you from God to be your own God. You need to go and forgive. That make sense?
Yes.
Who are you angry at?
My boyfriend.
And why?
Oh, yeah, hold on.
That's all right. No, it's okay. Be yourself here.
We've been together 15 years, and, we're still boyfriend and girlfriend, you know, and we have a son together. And I don't know, I think the thing that I'm most angry about is just we could have accomplished a lot more if we didn't smoke weed.
Yeah.
You know, if we built a relationship on smoking weed, and I see myself 15 years now. And I mean, we've accomplished a lot, not that we've been, you know, not accomplishing.
Right.
But then I kind of look at like a chart, you know, and I could see potential and I could see where I'm at. And I'm not at my potential. I mean, I could be doing so much more. We, as a family, we could be attending and doing things. I invited them to come today, and they didn't come. He didn't come.
Yeah.
And just that.
Why, you live with him?
Yes, we live together.
Why are you living with him?
Why I'm living with them? I think it's a lot of like, well, first of all, why not? I mean, we've been together, we sort of been together and we've never left each other's side, you know, kind of just connected and never left each other. And so we've been together because I don't have a good answer. Like, I don't know how to answer that.
Have you ever wondered, why am I with this guy?
Often I'll
And what do you
wonder,
come up
but,
with?
But I think I'm with him because I think I'm afraid, like I codependent. I need to, you know, I want to be with him. I think he's, I know why I'm with him. I know why I'm with him. I remember. Protection. No, I know why I'm with him. It's because of protection. Because
Protection from what?
I feel he's strong man. He's a strong black man, and he, you know, knows
Black
martial
man.
arts, very strong.
What's your race?
Me, I'm born here in the United States, but my mother is Costa Rican and my father's Argentinian.
Oh, okay. And so you with a strong black man.
And he's very strong, and he's strong in character. Like, there's a lot of great qualities about him. I mean, I see the acts that I see that he does. In my opinion, I don't see many people do things like that. Like help, you know, elderly ladies with their house and fixing things and stuff like that. Like, and sometimes won't even charge people, you know.
Right.
So he has a really amazing heart. So that's why I'm with him. And also
Amazing.
the protection, because I at a young age, I got a lot of things happen to me, and
You were not close to your father growing up?
actually, interesting story. I was very close to my father. Actually, I was the apple of his eye. I was everything to him.
Well, why didn't he protect you?
Because at age 12, around like 11, 12, my mom took me to Costa Rica. She took me out of the country and told me at the airport, we're going to Costa Rica and we're living there. So I was raised in Costa Rica, and while I was in Costa Rica, I had a burglary come, and they broke in and they beat me up and stabbed me and left me for dead under a bed.
Wow.
So, and I was, you know, alone at that time because my mom didn't have anybody. It was just me and my mom. So and then that wasn't like the first time things happened to me. I mean, I've been hit by a car. I've been had 3 suicide attempts. I had just an amazing like life of like just trouble. And so
Yeah.
when I met sorry, I didn't mean to say his name.
What?
When I met my boyfriend, he was such a protector, and he was solid, and he had an apartment, and I knew I could, you know, live with him
understand.
and build something with him, and we built something together.
Before I say what I have to say about it, this young lady want to give you some advice. What would you recommend to her? Take the mic behind you. She's like, do I really? This your first time here too?
Yes, this
Oh,
is
okay.
my first time here.
Welcome. So if you were walking down the road of Costa Rica and you ran into her, and she told you that story she just told you, what would you recommend for her?
I would recommend to control your narrative, understand that your past doesn't determine your future. So everybody in this room has or knows somebody who has stories like that. And every day it's about controlling your narrative and knowing that it doesn't matter. Every day, everything you do is a choice. You chose to be here. You choose to go to work. You choose the person you live with. You choose everything. You choose to have a relationship with your mother. You choose to have a relationship with your father. Everything we do every day is a choice. And our past does not determine our future.
Where's your father now?
passed away.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, I was grateful to be able to take care of him when he passed away. He had cancer, and I ended up at 19 moving back to United States.
Yeah.
And he helped me. Like, I went back to my father, and he helped me. He got me a GED. He, really got me on a good path. And then he passed away, and when he passed away, I moved back with my mom.
Oh, okay. One other person wanted to tell you something. What would you recommend?
I don't know what I have a comment to what you said about that your boyfriend is a good man. This is not judgment, because I don't know you or your boyfriend personally, but it's judgment out of love. To me, I think that's probably where it's rooted at, because you have too many expectations for him. Because personally, to me, that doesn't sound like a real man. Excuse me. Because he needs to be the example for you and your child. So if he's not living by example, for example, he's smoking weed with you, to me, that's not an example of a real man. So you're obviously not happy. So you obviously don't feel protected.
What do you think about that? That I had in my, yeah.
I think I could see the truth.
I'm sorry?
I could see the truth in that.
Yeah. Your boyfriend is a beta male. He's not a good man. He's weak. And the fact that he would live with you and not marry you, he doesn't love you. He's using you. You women should not have sex with men that they're not married to. They should not live with men they're not married to, because those men are weak men, and they're looking for a mama. And you are his mother. And the fact that he's doing all this work and all that, he's just weak. And that's why he's not charging. He's trying to get along with people because he doesn't know how to deal with them. I would highly recommend that you move out of there and get a job, not just rush out, but get a job, get your own place, and have this standard where no man is going to cross this line unless he marry you. Otherwise, because you can't trust a man that live with you and sleep with you or have sex with you. If a man sleep with you before marriage, he's going to cheat on you after marriage, because he doesn't have self-control. He's not a good man. He's a weak man. I recommend you forgive your mother for taking you away from your father.
I had a really strong conversation with her about like a year and a half, and it was natural. It wasn't like because I saw the show or anything. Actually, It was before I saw the show, maybe 2 years. Whatever. But I did have a conversation with my mom, and for many years I bit my nails, and they always said it was a sign of resentment of your mother.
Yes.
And ever since I stopped, I just forgave her. I forgave it. I don't know how to explain it, but that moment I just let it all out. I let her know. She was grateful enough to take on responsibility for a lot of what happened. And ever since then, my nails have grown.
Right on.
I don't bite my nails anymore.
So now you have to get away from this beta male. And it's not his fault. It's your fault that you're with him. You're an adult, and you agreed to that. So don't blame him for it. You have to take responsibility for yourself, because if you didn't allow that to happen, it would not have happened.
I have a question on that then.
Yes.
So when you talk about, when you have conversations about like the child and the mother, and that the mother kind of can devour the child,
Yes.
without the absence of the father.
Right.
I could see that happen easily in my house. I could see myself devouring my son,
Yes.
if it's not for his dad that steps in the way, that pushes me. So how do I reconcile that?
By forgiving him and just letting go of all your anger, right? And so the same love that worked through men from God will work through you, because you don't have a husband. And so you need to go straight to the Father yourself. You can't rely on him. So if you forgive this boyfriend for being weak, don't resent him, he can't help it, then God, and then you and your son go and get your place and be with him. But don't keep your son away from him. Let him don't hate the father and all that stuff, right? And God will work through you. He'll guide you so that you don't destroy your son, because you have perfect love.
Do you think there's ever hope to see that is there ever hope that he...
Well, you could hope that for him, wish him well, but it's up to him. Don't try to make him be that way. Don't try to, how women try to change men. I don't want you to be that way, so they try to create men in their image or the way they think he should be. Don't play God with him. That's up to him. You just let all the anger go so the love of God could work through you for you and your son. And this young lady is right. You've been through a lot. And so God have kept you alive for some reason, right? So he loves you. You just need to drop all the rage and start living upright, and it'll be fine. But you cannot live in this condition and have peace. It's not going to work. Because right now you're in hell. When men and women live together, they're living in hell. And so you got to overcome that hell. That makes sense?
Very much. Thank you very much.
Do you have a job?
Yes, I do. I had a really good job. This is going to be funny. I had a really good job, and I gave it up, and I quit it because I wanted to because I was the one, I was making primarily the income, and I wanted to put the man above me, because that was a concept new to me. And so I decided, you know what, I can't be the bread maker anymore. I can't be the one paying the bills. So I quit my job, and I put a situation in which I wasn't the bread maker anymore.
Amazing.
And he now is the bread maker, and
you guys don't have much bread.
And now I don't have very much bread, so I have a little, and actually I ended up having to take a little part-time job, and so I do a little part-time job. But I make a half of what I used to make before, and that's my situation.
Get your life back. All right? Get rid of this guy.
Well,
all right? I can't hear you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And so are you doing my silent prayer?
I will be doing it.
Yeah, make sure you start today. God is with you. He really is. That's why you ended up here.
Mm-hmm, yes.
So forgive him. He literally cannot help himself. He's a mama's boy. And you're his mama. He's attracted to what he hates. Men always end up women that are mama to them. That's why when they get into these relationships, they become the boy, and the woman become the mother. So, but you can't help it because it's in that fallen state. So don't hold any grudges against him, and don't keep his son away from him, but just don't hate him. Don't you hate him, and everything will be fine. All right?
Thank you.
And the last thing, don't have any more sex with him. Okay. She's not going to have sex with you, Leroy. And the reason I say that because when you have sex out of wedlock, even when you're married, you get into it emotionally, but you have a way out through Christ, right? But when you have sex and you're not married, you're in hell, emotionally attached to one another, ego running crazy, thinking that you can make him the head. A woman cannot make the man the head. If the woman make the man the head, then she's the God maker. So whenever she's ready to take the head down, she'll take it down.
Yeah, which is the case.
Yeah.
Which is the case in my home. It's true.
Yes, that's right. Only God has done that. He's already done it that way. And it's the man's responsibility to return to God so that he can be the head of his wife and children. All right? So don't have sex with him anymore. So you can have the strength to get out of there. Okay. That makes sense?
Yes.
And if you need counseling, let us know.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you.
Right on. But make sure you do the silent prayer. Do the prayer no matter what, even if you happen to have sex, because I think you will. You don't look like you're about to stop having sex. But don't judge yourself.
Yes.
Just know I should not be doing this. All right? But don't judge yourself for it. But stay with the prayer, and things will automatically start to change for you. All right?
Thank you very much.
Okay. Right here. Amazing. You're a good lady, so relax. God is with you. You're going to be just fine. He really is. Right in the black. Oh, you have it. Okay.
Yeah, I have it. I just had a question for you because that brought up something I wanted to ask you. I've been wanting to ask you for a couple of weeks, actually. Can you define strength? Because I think for us women, we have a hard time knowing what that is, because her definition of strength, when I heard it, I felt the complete opposite. I thought maybe that's not,
Right.
So I feel like a lot of men are confused too on how to actually exude that strength.
Yes.
Because so many of us have a different perspective on what it is.
That's
so,
right. I understand that.
Yeah, so some people define it by the things that they do, like acts of service, where other people define it as whatever's in your character. So is there a true definition of it? Because it seems like we're all just walking around with these different perspectives and we don't know what to do.
It is the absence of anger, resentment, hatred. And when you don't have that, you have perfect love. And that's what strength is. When you can love your enemy. You You know, when you can speak up and deal with things, but don't hate.
So going back to her example, where would his anger be?
Her boyfriend?
Yeah, where is he acting out his anger that he has that's making him not
I don't know
strong?
because I've never met him,
Uh-huh.
but based on the information, it's come from his mother because and his father, because if he loved his father and mother, he wouldn't be treating her this way, meaning that he would marry her, he wouldn't have sex with her before marriage, he would do the right thing. But instead, it sounds as though he has the mentality of his mother, so he's looking for a mother rather than a wife.
And I think that sometimes those situations come together because women want to mother their men.
Yes.
But call it something else. Like,
Yeah,
I
what it
care,
is-
or, they call it nurturing, but I think it's something else.
It's death.
Yeah, and it's almost.
Whenever a woman says, I'm nurturing you, she's really saying, I'm killing you. I'm sucking all the life out of you. You are mine. Women are very insecure, and so they're always looking for something or someone to control, because in that control, it gives them a false sense of security. So they'll take a weak man, even though they hate weak men. They'll take a weak man just to control him, but they'll hate him, but yet they'll take it. And they'd rather that you not be that way, but what do you do, right? And then they'll take the kids and just screw up the kids. Our mama, hear me roar, because it's a false sense of security. And so that's why they do it. And then they say, well, I'm nurturing. Because Satan always makes us lie when we're in a fallen state. He will not let you say, you know what, I'm doing this because I'm so insecure that I'm controlling my man, I'm controlling my children, I'm evil. He's not going to let you say that, because if you recognize that, then you'll go free from him. That's admitting that I'm wrong. And he doesn't want you to admit that. But when they say I'm nurturing, they're killing. That's why men die first.
I believe that. I believe that because I used to manage senior properties, and the men always die off. Those places are full of old women, and they just cackle all day.
That's right.
That's all they do. No, seriously, I can see how the men die early.
You're absolutely right.
So I just had one more question, because I guess I would
Once
call
women
it
forgive their parents, though, especially their mothers, that'll stop. They won't do that. They won't desire that, because they won't desire power. They won't feel insecure, and they won't accept a weak man. It just wouldn't happen. They wouldn't want it. It'll be it's a throw-up moment.
So they would know just, I guess, internally that person is weak. They would be able to
A woman
identify
can
that
smell
strength.
a weak man a mile away.
But there's so
She
many
can look
of
way down the
them.
road. Is there. Even when that man playing macho with the big muscles, she's like, okay, I see right through this one.
Well, those are the biggest offenders,
Yeah.
but
Yes.
my biggest indicator for myself that I've come up with, and it just came to me automatically, it wasn't something I had to think on. Whenever somebody calls me strong, then I know I'm dealing with someone that doesn't get it, because you
Right.
shouldn't ever walk up to a woman and say, oh, you're so strong,
I
you're so
know.
independent.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm an adult. I just pay my bills. I do
That's
what I'm
right.
supposed to do. I'm an adult.
I
I'm not,
interviewed a black guy from the Black Student Union at, what college was that? No. Antelope Valley. And he said that black women are strong.
I hate that.
And he's like, they're strong. So I asked, are you saying they're strong like a man? Yeah, they're equal. I was like, you got issues. You have some serious issues. That interview is going to be coming up soon on it.
And that's
We
what I
just did it
hear.
Friday. I'm
When
sorry?
someone says you're strong, I hear, oh, you think I'm a man. But then when I ask what makes me strong, they start to say all these things that are material. And it's like,
Right.
that's not what it is,
No.
dude. It's
When men and women have perfect love, then they're strong. Really. Because you find yourself loving even your enemies. And you find yourself not having fear. And you find yourself treating people the way you would like to be treated. Even if they hate you, you still don't hate them back. It's so amazing to live that way. It's mind-blowing. That's what strength is, perfect love.
So I should run away from the man that says I'm strong.
No, whenever he says that to you, just say, you're a beta male.
And just walk away.
I don't want a beta male.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, sir.
Just a quick thing on that. I say that there's no such thing as strong women, only weak men.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And any time a man says that the woman is strong, he's literally saying he is weak. He's really saying that. Really, he's saying that. Okay. Man, look at this time. So let me do this. I'll take here first. And then you had your hand?
No, that's my mom. So she's,
That's your mother?
yeah.
Where you been, man?
I've been
That's amazing.
San Diego.
Oh, yeah? I'm glad to see you.
Good to see you too.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. This your first time? Take the mic for me?
I don't need a microphone, I think.
No, yes, you do.
I need
That's
a
your mama?
microphone?
Yeah, we need it. We need it so that the people online.
Okay. My name is Mirta, and I live in Houston, Texas.
You what?
In Houston, Texas.
Oh, okay.
This is a Pastor Jesse.
Yeah, just call me
Okay.
Jesse.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Jesse. You said a few minutes ago that the Bible is not important to
Yeah,
be
please.
read.
I'm sorry?
You said a few minutes ago that the Bible is not important to
It
be
is
read.
important, and it's a good book to read, but the Bible is the word from God. The word of God is in our hearts.
Okay. I believe that the Bible is the Word of God.
And why do you believe that?
And 2 Timothy 3 says, all Scripture is inspired by God and is useful to teach us what is true and to make us realize what is wrong in our lives. It corrects us when we are wrong and teaches us to do what is right. The Word of God, that is the Bible, Mr. Jesse, is written by God for us.
What you're missing
So-
is it says that the word in the Bible is inspired by God.
Is,
Meaning
yeah,
that
is what God
Hold on, let me just say
inspired
this.
40 people
Right.
to write His word, that word for us, to be in us. So I believe that Jesus, Holy Spirit, live in me, and He teaches me every day of my life to be the way He is, to walk in His ways, to teach people,
Let me do this
to
because of time.
preach the gospel all
Hello?
around
Hello?
the world.
Hello? You're wrong. And I understand why you're wrong, because I thought that too for a long time.
I'm not saying,
Hold on.
Mr. Jesse, I'm not saying
Hold
that
on.
I'm wrong or right.
No, you're wrong.
I'm saying that the Bible is right.
I got you, but let me explain, because I gave you the time, and I'm looking at the clock right now, and we got to do a wedding. What you're missing is that, yes, the men who wrote the Bible wrote it because they were inspired. God gave them what to write on paper. And so they wrote down His instructions for us. And His instruction says that the kingdom of heaven is inside of us, that before you enter that kingdom, you must forgive, because no man is going to enter the kingdom with hatred in their hearts. It tells us not to look without, but to look within. And the reason that, and He said that He was going to write the words upon our heart. The word that we live by is on our heart, not in the Bible. And if you notice, the people who study the Bible, they can't even keep the Bible. They can't live by it at all. They're some of the nasty, evil, deceiving people you ever want to see, because they have taken that and it puffed up their ego. But if they go within and find that truth, then they'll have love and things will change.
But-
It is inspired, but that doesn't mean the Bible is the word of God. It's from God. It would be like if you wrote your son a note and he read that note, he's not going to worship the note. He's going to realize you wrote the note and sent it to him.
But Mr. Jesse,
Yes.
I can't, with all the respect, because do you know more than me? Because I guess you went to the seminary or
No, I
don't
did
know.
not.
Okay.
I did not go to a seminary.
Okay.
People who go to seminaries
I
are
got all
nutcases.
respect for everybody here.
Don't go
but
to
here
seminary.
says in 2 Corinthians, it is not that we think that we are qualified to do anything in our own. Our qualifications comes from God.
Right.
So it doesn't matter how strong I am physically, if spiritually, I do not have the strength that comes from my Lord. It does not matter.
But let me tell you
I'm
this.
nothing without Him.
Let me tell you this. If you have not given up your anger and enter into the kingdom of God from within,
Mr. Jesse,
then-
I gave up my
let me
anger
finish.
long time ago when I received Jesus in my life.
Right. Right.
But you don't know my life.
Right.
I gave up
But-
my anger
but
a
let me
long
tell you
time
this.
ago, and I love everybody here.
No, you don't.
Okay.
But you're a nice lady, and I love your son is.
You are such.
But let me tell you this,
You
I
know what?
totally understand.
I'm trying to be the most humble person, and I ask to my Lord every day to be very humble.
Okay.
Okay.
Hold on, guys.
But
Hold on, Mayor.
I'm just a little bit confused because I thought first of all, my son invites me, and Nicholas, I know,
Yeah, keep the mic
invites me to come
And I'm
here
glad you came.
and to hear the word. And to me, to hear the word in any congregation when people get together is I need a Bible.
No, I understand
That's
that.
the main reason I need a Bible. I need the
All right.
Word of God,
I
not the
gotta
Word of
move
man.
on. I gotta move on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really appreciate it.
And somebody else?
Yeah, he has it right behind you. Did you have your hand? No. Oh, it was for your mother? Yeah. Help your mama, boy.
Very much.
You better be trying to help your mama. Come right here with the mic.
Every time I speak to her, she just always has to bring in a Bible verse, and I'm like, I can't talk to her.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard because every time, it's like every paragraph is like a quote from the Bible.
I
It's
know,
just
makes
like,
you wanna
I'm not
drink.
talking with her.
Doesn't make you like
And then
want to
like
come
I could
alcoholic.
see like when
Hold on.
and she's like angry right now,
Yeah.
like and it's
I'm not angry.
Yeah.
I'm just a little bit disappointed.
Hold on a minute. Hold on.
Because this is
Hold on.
like
Hey.
yes.
Thank you.
So so another thing she was telling me was like how like when you become a Christian, like for instance, she told me like her pastor sins. You know, it's like it's okay, like we're sinners and it's okay to keep sinning. Like
Yeah.
we aren't perfect, and it's like I was trying to tell her that like once you become Christian, like you could just stop that. Like, and she gave me
Right.
the example. Oh, like in road rage, you like what do you do when a guy cuts you off? You like your first instinct is to freak out, right? And I mean, I still do that, but yeah, I was trying to explain to her that you could just like not have an opinion about that and just be calm.
Yeah.
And just, yeah. But,
So here's what I highly recommend. Stop. Don't try to convince her anymore.
yeah, I've been
Don't
like,
have a conversation like that because when they're throwing those scriptures on you, they're not hearing you at all. The intellect is going nuts, right?
Yeah.
And so just wish her well. You live your life, be a good example, speak up, and then hopefully she'll pay attention to that, and maybe then she'll think about it. But don't try to convince her because it's going to drive you to drink.
yeah, it's
You'll be
actually
doing
been-
pot
it's like-
and alcohol. I'm telling you, don't. You can't convince anyone of this. It's not even our job to convince you of it. We have to be a living example, and your light will shine and they will see it.
All right.
All right?
Cool. Thanks, Jesse.
You're welcome, buddy. James, online, go ahead.
Okay, Marius, I may be mispronouncing his name. He says his widow girlfriend, who already has 2 kids from a prior marriage, says that she is pregnant with his kid. Should he marry her? Should he live with her? Please advise.
Run. Don't walk. Out of that state. That's not going to work. That's so unfortunate that you did that. It really is. Don't have sex, guys, until marriage. Then this wouldn't be a decision. Really, if you're going to date, even with the widow, date. Because the Bible says that if your husband should die, then the wife is freed up then. But don't have sex so it wouldn't be a question. All right? It will just work itself out the right way. And if it's meant for you to be with her, it'll happen naturally. So what I would recommend is no more sex. Date for a year without sex, and then you'll see the right thing to do. Just cut out the sex part. And don't live with her. But cut out the sex part, no sex, and you get to know each other, and you won't be emotionally attached to one another. And then if it's meant to be, it will happen. Because you can marry a widow.
Even if they're having a child?
Yeah. Because the husband died, or the wife died.
No, but in this situation, the two are having a child, I believe you said.
That she already had a child, right?
Sorry, she's having another one with you.
Yeah.
2 children from a prior marriage.
And now she's having one
from
with
the
new
dead
guy.
husband, right?
Yeah.
From the dead husband. It's best not to marry a woman with children because kids don't want step parents. And so I would suggest, the problem is he has a child with her now, you know. I would, you know what, just date for a year and see what happens. Call me later. I would need to talk to him more. So that's a difficult situation. Yes, Jay, one more.
Story of the Black Conservative, also known as KT, gave a super chat and asked,
Thanks, KT.
What should you do if you awaken, but your wife isn't awake?
Just be a living example. You know, be honest, be fair with your wife, and one day she might come around. But don't judge her, don't pounce on her. Just be a living example, correct her when she's wrong, without the anger, and because you owe it to her as the head of her to be a living example, to be a perfect love. All right? So be patient. I saw your hand. Yes, sir. Real fast for me.
So much, but to go back to addiction.
Yes.
It's not just weed. I feel like for a long time I had a addictive personality, I call it. But whether it's weed, sex, pornography, cocaine, whatever it is, or people, I have found myself be addicted to people sometimes. But how do you deal with people around your life that love you and they nonstop, oh, you gotta stop smoking, you gotta stop dating, oh, you gotta do this, you know, and they're always reminding you. And my answer is, well, I know this.
Avoid them.
Well,
I mean, stay away from them.
Well, no, but what advice would you give them?
If you say, leave me alone, I don't want to hear it.
No, that's not, my question is, what advice would you give them? Like, let's say a parent or whatever is, you know, and because they don't know what you're working on, but what advice would you give them?
Well, of course, parents should not impose on their children like that. But for you, though, if they continue to do it, and you say, no, I don't want to hear it, and they don't stop, then you have to avoid them. You have to take a step so they can see that you're serious about it. It's not what they're going to do, it's what you do. You're an adult man.
What if when I do that to other people?
Avoid them?
No. Let's say I see my sister has a problem, for example, she doesn't, and I'm trying to impose, you know, hey, you should stop this.
Yeah, you being like your mother. Just know what, sister? I'm being a woman right now. I am female, hear me roar. I'm sorry. But back off from her, man. Don't impose like that. You don't like it when it happens to you. Don't do it to anyone else. God doesn't impose on you. He'll try to warn you that you're about to fall off the bridge, but if you don't listen, he'll just let you fall off. And then he'll go make another baby to replace you. So don't do that. That is so female.
No, I guess sometimes yeah.
I'm sorry?
No, nothing.
No, it's female. Did you know you're a woman? What is life being a woman? Stop it. You're just like the people you're complaining about. You become like what you hate. So don't do that to your sister or anyone.
So your advice is just stop it.
I'm sorry?
So your advice is just stop it.
Yes. Cut that out.
It's gonna be.
You don't have a right to impose anything on anyone. People have a right to be wrong. This young lady, she has a right to be wrong. And I still love her. But I wish her well. I don't have a right to impose on her. If she want to believe that stuff, let her believe it. And then she'll suffer and die. Or cry out to God and live. And so don't be mad at your mother. But don't have that conversation anymore. All right? Because it'll drive you nuts. And then she'll see you do sin. All right? Don't impose your will on people. It's God's will, not our will. And if you want to be free, I got to tell you this, and then we got to do a wedding. Lock your door is getting married in a minute. Isn't that amazing? And all you are invited. Oh, let me tell you this really fast. So this past Thursday night, I spoke down at USC to the Republican Club. And during the question and answer period, a young girl, a white girl, asked me, what do you do with fear? You know, I'm afraid to speak up on campus because of what might happen. And she's a nice little girl, you know, and I felt so sorry for her. Not sorry, but it's disappointing that she can't speak up at school. And another guy came over and told me the same thing. He's afraid to speak up at school. And I want to tell you that the worst thing that you can have in life is fear. Fear is your enemy. It will cut you down and keep you down. And I want you, and I'm telling you this because it's not from God. As a matter of fact, it's not even pleasing to God. Anyone who has fear cannot please God. It's impossible. And so, like I told them, you got to speak up anyway. Overcome the anger, the fear will disappear. If you don't have anger, then fear will disappear anyway. It has to go. It's a child of anger, which is a child of Satan. And so what I recommend to them is that they start speaking up anyway. And then if you get kicked out of school, fight for it. Go get a lawyer, protest, go to the media. But you got to start fighting back. Otherwise, the children of the light are just going to dig a hole and put you in it. They're not going to stop because they see that you're not going to speak up. And so you're giving them life over you. It doesn't even make sense that you let someone take away your freedom of speech. There's nothing on earth that's that important that you should give up your speech for, freedom of speech. Because if you can't speak up, you have nothing. And so you got to learn to fight back. If they kick you out, protest. I remember once the insurance company wouldn't pay for my car. It got hit at night. I was in the house sleep, and a car ran into my car and hit it. And they were like, we're not going to pay for it because you don't have any proof of someone down there. Something crazy, right? I said, okay, fine. And this was before I even woke up. So I went and made me a poster sign that said, I got screwed by Allstate. And I went by myself. And Satan would tell me, you're going to look dumb out there by yourself. You're going to look crazy about protesting by yourself, right? I didn't listen to that because I knew I had paid my insurance. It's rare that black people pay insurance anyway. And so I paid my insurance and they still don't want to pay me, right? And so I went down there on a Thursday morning and I walked right up and down in front of them yelling out, I got screwed by Allstate. I got screwed by Allstate. And Satan like, you look like an idiot. Well, I'm like, that's fine. And so at the end of the day, I stayed all day. At the end of and the people asked me, what did they do? And that's Allstate didn't like that at all. And so, and the next day was a Friday, and I had to get a haircut. So I told them, all right, I'm leaving now, but I'll be back late tomorrow because I get a haircut in the morning. And a black man have to get a haircut every other week. And so I said, but I will be back. And so the very next morning I get a phone call, we're going to take care of you, you don't have to come back. And they paid off my car and they gave me much more money than what my car was worth. And it was because I stood up. I was in the right. Had I been wrong, it would have been a different story. But I was in the right. And they paid off my car and paid me some money. It was amazing. And that car, I was using that car for my janitorial service. It was a station wagon. And so you got to stand up. You cannot have fear. James had a problem some years ago. He bought this car, and it was a used car, and they told him it was fine. To make a long story short, something happened, and they didn't want to take care of him, right? My producer. And I said, James, get you a picket sign. Go down there and say I got screwed. And he did it, and they paid him. Because he was in the right. You can only do this when you're in the right, right? So make sure you stand up for yourself. You might shake in your boots, but it'll pass. God is with you. All right? So you got to start fighting back. Don't be afraid. Even if you have to stand alone, God is with you. We had an issue here where they didn't want to trim the trees in the backyard parking lot. The guy that owned it was saying that it was the guy over their responsibility, and they were saying it. And so I went back and forth. They didn't want to do it. I said, all right, I'm going to go out and pick it with a sign again. And so I went out there and sat in front of the business. And I was yelling, I got screwed again. And then Urban's and everybody came out with the cameras, and and the guy like, go away. I'm like, I ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna stay and you gonna love me. And then after a while, the owner said, all right, we'll cut the trees. It's too bad that you have to do it, but you gotta take a stand. God is with us, especially when you're right. Satan tried to talk you out of it, but don't let him. There was a little lightweight protest. The children of the light came into the meeting, they sat there, right? And when I walked in, they were all sitting there. And so I started talking about there is no racism, they're lying to you. And they all just jumped up and ran out. I'm like, hey, don't go, come back. And I'm saying this because I want you to know that they are afraid of you. They really are. But if you don't take a stand, you won't see that they are afraid of you. That's why they call you names. They try to, destroy you. They have no power. And the last thing I got to tell you, as the Bible says, count it all joy through tribulation. When you're going through something, you need that. You need exactly what is happening to make you strong from within and to see that God is with you. Because if you didn't have situations happen in your life, Satan will leave you for a minute, but he'll go out and he'll organize and he'll come back and ambush you. The one thing that suffering does for us, it allows you to keep your eyes on yourself and know that you have a relationship with God. But if you didn't have these situations to deal with, you'll forget about God. And he will ambush you. Satan will ambush you. So be grateful for these things. It's not bad. It's not good. It makes you strong. All right? So when they call you names or they whatever they do, I'm going to take your job away from you, just know this is a good deal for me. And stand up and fight back. Really. And then they'll stop. Don't cower down anymore. It's a battle between good and evil, right versus wrong. So I told these people at USC, you got to stand up. It's not going to stop. Look how they're intimidating and calling your names and fighting with you and taking your jobs. You are allowing that to happen. If you didn't allow it, it would not happen. You are allowing it. Don't be a coward. Greater is he that's in us than he that's in the world. And when they see you're going to fight back, and I fight back, and I love fighting back. It's so much fun. It's just crazy how much fun it is. As long as you don't have that anger, you fight back, you can't lose. All right? So overcome fear by overcoming anger. Otherwise, they're going to lock you in. All right? That help a little bit? All right. Thank you guys so much. Look what they did to poor Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly should not have lost her job talking about dressing in blackface or whatever dumb thing that is. But the more you give into it, yeah, she got fired.
I know, but she lost her mind because she already knew better.
Oh, well, but still, yeah, she should, hopefully she'd fight back. Let me do this. Do you want your wedding to be done live? You don't want it to be done live where the world can see it. You don't want a live wedding. This would be like a royal wedding. All right, folks, they don't want to do, we're going to do a quick wedding right now, but they don't want to do it live. Maybe we can record it and put it out there later. And put it later?
Yeah, I told Esteban that we could record it, but just don't broadcast it live.
Oh, okay. So don't forget to like, follow, tweet, subscribe, and donate. We need your financial support. And if you need counseling, you can call us to set it up or go to the website, rebuildingtheman.com. But I just want to encourage you to overcome your anger. Once you do that, everything, you wake up. Everything else is easy. And for men who are beta males, pitiful. Pitiful. You're a girl. You're a beta. And you can overcome it. Just overcome your mothers. All right? Overcome it. Forgive your parents. All right. So thank you so much for tuning in. And I appreciate all of you coming.